Sir Carlos 4882 on YouTube. He asks me, indie games. What kinds of indie games have you played, if any? I've played bunches of indie RPGs like Lisa the Painful and whatnot, and I was curious to see if you've ever heard or played it. Yeah, dude, Lisa, technically a trilogy. I believe that it was Lisa the First back in 2012. And Lisa the Painful back in 2014. Back in 2012, that was right whenever I was starting to dip my toes a little bit into the indie gaming scene. I think that was made in RPG Maker. I'm not totally sure. Games made in RPG Maker today are not like games that were made in RPG Maker back in 2012, 2013, 2014. Lisa the Painful is absolutely the one that everybody remembers. And there was a Lisa Definitive Edition that recently came out back in 2023. It's playable on all the modern consoles. I'm definitely going to go back and play it, but actually in the time that this game originally came out, in between 2012, 2015, it was kind of on my radar, but I never played it. Yeah, Undertale has been one of the biggest indie sensations of all time, and yeah, I think had Undertale not come out, I don't know if we would be actually getting this Lisa Definitive Edition that came out back in 2023. So it's more on my radar now than it ever has been. But yes, I have played tons and tons of indie games. And here are just some of my favorite indie games. You're going to see that a lot of these are mostly horror games. I do love horror video games. And I'm not actually going to be listing these in any particular order. These are just games that I have loved throughout my whole gaming career. Some games that I've just kind of dabbled around with and stuff. Maybe I haven't finished all the games, but these really are some of my favorite games. All right, so like I said, Undertale, love that game. Journey, Journey. Journey's a good game. Journey and Flow, both of those were wonderful games, and I played Journey back on the PlayStation 3 at my buddy Brandon's house when I was younger, and that I think that was the first indie game I ever played. That I knew, oh my gosh, this was just made by a small team of people. The music is so good, the visuals are great, just the physics of just jumping around and running around and sliding in the sand, that one blew my mind when I was younger. But Journey, that was great. Ib. If you've ever played Ib, I believe that one's also maybe an RPG Maker game. I don't know if they ever released that one on modern consoles, but it's definitely available on PC. Yume Nikki, Omori. Omori is also wonderful. It's a kind of like a spiritual successor to something like Undertale or Earthbound. It's in that style of game, but it really, really tackles home on just the ideas of depression and isolation and things like that. If you are someone who gets in your feels about things that are, dealing with going through a deep depression, Omori is phenomenal. Mouthwashing, that's a brand new one. That was a really short experience I talked briefly about in my games that I'm playing video. Mouthwashing was great. Anodyne 1 and 2. Both of those were really fun indie experiences. I think Anodyne 1 was the more Game Boy Color or original Game Boy style of puzzle design and stuff like that. A lot of really cool secrets in there. And then Anodyne 2 came out, and it was more of a love letter to PlayStation 2 era of gaming. So Anodyne 1 and 2, those are great. Guacamelee, probably one of the best Metroidvanias I've ever played in my life. And it's really great if you're playing it 2-player as well. Little Nightmares, I've played 1 and 2 recently, and I'm actually, no. I played all of Little Nightmares 1, and I'm about to start Little Nightmares 2, because I'm pumped for Little Nightmares 3, and then that same team, they're making another game. Reanimal, I think is what it's called. Super looking forward to that one. Layers of Fear, made by Bloober Team, the same team who did the Silent Hill 2 remake. Was kind of designed in the style of PT, that Kojima game, Silent Hills game that never came out. Scald, Against the Black Priory. I interviewed the developer of that game. Super, super wonderful guy who just made that game with so much passion for cosmic horror and the DOS or Commodore 64 era of RPGs, and just a lot of D&D mechanics, Baldur's Gate stuff. If you like any of that stuff, Scald Against the Black Priory is probably one of the most impressive indie games I've ever seen in my life. Hades needs no introduction. Hades 1 and 2. Is Hades 2 out yet? I can't even remember. I really loved Hades 1, but have not really paid much attention to Hades 2. Hollow Knight, seriously, another wonderful Metroidvania game that is getting a sequel, hopefully, this year. Hylics 1 and 2, a super surreal, like, I don't even know how you describe it. It's just surreal, kind of cosmic. I don't even want to say it's cosmic horror. It's just like weird. It's just like none of it makes sense, but it's a JRPG. It's really, really good. What Remains of Edith Finch and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, both of those games, super, super wonderful kind of walking simulator games, but really, really good. The Witness, another really, really cool puzzle game in first person. I love that game. And Stardew Valley also needs no introduction. Like if you grew up playing Harvest Moon, that game is awesome. It's like really, really, really good. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about Stardew Valley, but it's just really, really good. There's a ton more that I could name. These are just some of them off the top of my head. I really, really think, especially nowadays, indie games are more on my radar than ever before. I think it's the future of gaming. I think everyone is getting so sick and tired of a lot of the same old copy and paste assets, sequels, remakes of just all of these other, I don't know, big games from the past or something like that. Indie games are where it's at. So thank you, Sir Carlos 4882, for asking me this question. I love talking about indie games. Any chance I get to talk about indie games, I will gladly accept the opportunity. So thank you.